Namaste everyone, my name is Satish Menon and today we are going to talk about a very important, a very eminent personality of the Mahabharata epic. We are going to talk about Surya Putra, the son of sun god, Karna. We know a lot of qualities about Karna, like he was a great warrior, a great fighter. He was the greatest Danveer ever, that is, he was a man of charity. He would donate and never turn back, never trying to take credit. Not interested in photo ops the way people do now. He was a man of virtue, man of dharma. He would always try to do the right thing. And he was a very good friend of the villain of Mahabharata, that is Duryodhana. We know about these qualities, but what is not known or what is not made much obvious is that Karna was very good at jyotish or astrology also. He had a great understanding, great learning of astrology or jyotish vidya. Today in this video I am going to present a particular learning, a particular lesson, a secret if you may, that Karna had made or forecasted. I am going to try and understand the logic behind that particular lesson and apply it into our modern day life and times and see that it's working so perfectly well. Even something that is said, in 3000 BC works perfectly well in the present situations also. If you have not subscribed to my channel so far, please go ahead and do that. Keep watching. Just before the war of Kurukshetra, Lord Shri Krishna goes to meet Karna. He is trying to persuade Karna to join the side of Pandavas so that the war can be avoided if possible. He tells Karna that you are a man of dharma, you always follow the right path. Do you think Duryodhana is following dharma? Then why are you on his side? Karna tells Krishna that the relation between me and Duryodhana is not between dharma and adharma. The bond is about love and friendship. I have been helped by Duryodhana in my worst times, so I cannot leave his side. Then Krishna reveals to Karna that he is the son of Kunti, the eldest son, and therefore he is the eldest of the Pandavas. So if the war happens and the Pandavas will win, he will get the whole kingdom to himself, he will become the new king. But Karna is not greedy at all. He says to Krishna that according to him, Yudhishthir is the perfect person, the right person to be the king. And if Yudhishthir would know that Karna is the elder brother, then Yudhishthir will never sit on the throne. So he tells Krishna that he will not leave the side of Duryodhana. Krishna tries different ways trying to persuade Karna to get him into his team. But Karna finally tells him, "Oh Krishna, why are you trying so hard? You know that this is inevitable. And even I have forecasted it a bit. I know that I will be slain at the hands of Arjuna. Bhim will rip open the chest of Dushasana. Bhishma will be killed because of Shikhandi, and Drishtidyumna will be the reason for Dronacharya's death. Finally, Bhim and Duryodhana will have a one-to-one fight, and Bhim will defeat Duryodhana, will kill him, and that way the Kurukshetra war will end." Astrologically, now this is very important, he mentions about an astrological point here. Astrologically, the great planet Saturn will afflict Rohini Nakshatra, that will cause mass destruction on the earth. Also, Mars, the planet Mars, will enter from Jesh Nakshatra to Anuradha Nakshatra. This will cause loss of lives of many friends. Sun will meet Rahu, leading to a total solar eclipse. He mentions many such astrological points and finally tells Krishna that the war is inevitable, this is going to happen. Then he tells him that if at all they come out of the war, they will meet here, else they will meet in the heaven. He embraces Krishna and leaves. Let us try and understand the meaning of the astrological statements that Karna made. I am going to just cover a few basics here for the benefit of people who do not have a foundation in astrology. Guys, we are going to consider ourselves as a stationary point on Earth and look at the 360-degree solar system that surrounds us, ranging from Aries till Pisces, all of them under that 360 degrees. Now we have 12 such signs and 360 degrees to cover. So that would mean 360 divided by 12 would be equal to 30 degrees, which means every sign will have 30 degrees each. Now 30 degrees again of every sign is divided into the place for 3 nakshatras. I am not going to get into the mathematics of it because that will be too complicated. Just to keep it simple, every sign will have 3 nakshatras. Like for example, Taurus here would have 3 nakshatras. First, Kritika belonging to Sun. Second is Rohini belonging to Moon. And third is Mrigashirsh belonging to Mars. Exactly the same way, on the opposite side, we have the sign Scorpio. Scorpio again has Vishakha belonging to Jupiter. Again, the next nakshatra is Anuradha belonging to Saturn. And finally, Jyesht nakshatra belonging to Moon. So this way, we have 3 nakshatras for every sign. Alright. Now, we are not going to consider all other nakshatras. Our focus remains on what Karna's statements are. So I am only going to consider Rohini, Jyesht and Anuradha nakshatra here. So all others for the time being will take it away. Fine. Let's focus first on Rohini nakshatra. See, Rohini nakshatra is one of the nakshatras that is owned by Moon. Every planet has a ownership over 3 nakshatras. So Moon owns Rohini nakshatra, it also owns Hasta nakshatra, it also owns Shravan nakshatra. It's almost like you have a flat in a city, you can have a place in your native place also, a house in your native place, and you can even have a farmhouse somewhere where you can go and relax. You have 3 homes now or 3 houses, but out of those 3 places you may be feeling more peaceful, more dominant, or you may enjoy staying in one of these 3 places, though you are the owner of all the 3. Exactly the same way, Moon is the owner of 3 nakshatras, but it is most dominating, most peaceful. In astrological terminology, it is the most exalted in Rohini nakshatra. See, even mythologically, Moon is said to have 27 wives. Out of that, his favorite wife was Rohini. So it has a dominant power and exalted power in Rohini nakshatra. So this is how, we are going to only focus on Rohini nakshatra. The other nakshatras, we can take it away for the time being. Now, when we talk about Moon and Rohini nakshatra, why has Karna only focused on that? Kind of, is more clear to us now. But to make it more evident, instead of me saying it, let's go to Google and just put up this particular query. Which dynasty did Kauravas and Pandavas belong to? The answer that you get is Kauravas and Pandavas belong to the same dynasty, Kuru dynasty. And Kuru dynasty in turn belongs to lunar dynasty, that is Chandravamshi. Chandravamshi, Chandra stands for moon. So which means both Kauravas and Pandavas were a dynasty or were part of a dynasty that had dominant power of planet moon or element moon. So which means when Karna made this statement, he was talking specifically that their war is inevitable because Saturn was about to afflict that particular Rohini nakshatra where moon's dominant power is extremely higher compared to other nakshatras, which in turn would affect them also. Now we are talking about Saturn afflicting, so that means we need to understand Saturn's power. In my last video where I discussed Saturn affecting India for the year 2020, our fortunes for 2020, I clearly mentioned that Saturn is a karma karaka, a planet of justice, a judge, a planet that can bring a new age, new dimension, new order. It is exactly what it also did at the time of Kurukshetra war when it came over Rohini nakshatra. So Saturn afflicting Rohini nakshatra, as Karna said, would cause total destruction, mass destruction, simply because Saturn represents people, it represents new order, moon represents mind, and that combination, and Saturn being a malefic again, that combination resulted in mass destruction. Now the second statement that he makes is about Mars entering from Jyesht nakshatra to Anuradha nakshatra will cause the loss of lives of friends. Jyesht nakshatra owned by Mercury and Mercury is the Karaka for friends. Anyone who has a strong Mercury in their horoscope will always have a lot of friends. Now, Mars is an indicator of weapons, blood, aggression, war, and it is moving from Mercury's nakshatra to Saturn's nakshatra Anuradha. Saturn and Mars are staunch enemies, Param Shatru as they call it. Whenever their energies meet, there will always be friction, there will always be fight. And that is why the statement that there will be loss of friends when Mars moves from Jyeshtha to Anuradha nakshatra. And this is exactly what happened. Lot of bigwigs, lot of stalwarts, lot of friends from both the sides, both the parties lost their lives in the Kurukshetra war. So this way, the principle, the points that Karna made and his predictions proved correct in the Kurukshetra war. We are now going to take that principle and apply those learnings in our present modern day historical timeline and see how it works perfectly even now. So let's go back in time and check out the same principles there. I'm not going to consider Mars here because Mars is a fast moving planet. So over a long period of time, there will be too many permutations and combinations for the scope of this video. However, I'm going to only consider Saturn's affliction in Rohini nakshatra. That would be sufficient enough to give us some evidence of this particular principle. So let's check it out. The most recent time Saturn was in Rohini nakshatra was in the middle of 2001. And it was witness to perhaps one of the most blatant and coordinated terror attacks the world ever witnessed. 4 passenger airlines were planned and crashed, 2 of them on World Trade Twin Towers. With almost 3,000 fatalities and over 25,000 injuries, this is the deadliest terror attack in human history. Let's rewind time back. Before this, Saturn had afflicted Rohini nakshatra in the year 1971, again pointing to a war, the year of India-Pakistan war that occurred during the liberation war of East Pakistan. Rewinding time again, we reach 1942. It was the time of World War II. This time, however, the effects of it began almost 2.5–3 years before and stayed again almost 2.5–3 years till later. This is like a typical Sade Sati effect that Saturn gives over Moon in individual horoscopes also. 1939, the time when Hitler invaded Poland, Britain and France declare war on Germany. 1941, Pearl Harbor is attacked and America enters the war. 1942, Germans face defeat at Stalingrad. Mass murders of Jewish people at Auschwitz takes place. And finally, in 1945, the atom bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Rewinding time again. This time, when Saturn afflicted Rohini nakshatra, we reach 1912, the year of the First Balkan War of the Balkan League against the Ottoman Empire, Russia. This war led to political instability in the Balkans, and when Archduke Ferdinand got killed, it escalated to World War I. That began from 1914 and lasted till 1918. Again, a 7.5 year period of Saturn working. Incidentally, 1912 was also the year that RMS Titanic sank. So, as you can see that the point and principle that Karna had mentioned in the year 3000 BC is still very relevant today. Whenever Saturn has afflicted Rohini nakshatra, it has caused destruction, whether in the form of long battles or wars. But the fact is, in a war, no one wins. Even the so-called winner suffers. Saturn as a planet does indicate destruction and war, but remember, it is also a karma karaka, planet of justice. If man can deal in good karmas, better judgment, then it is possible to avoid war and destruction in totality. In my study, I also found that major earthquakes have also been the cause of destruction during the same time when Saturn afflicts Rohini nakshatra. I think the combination of Saturn at Rohini along with Mars in different places in the horoscope creates earthquake-like situations. Remember that just like Mars is a Karaka for battles, war, blood, etc., it's also a Karaka for Bhumi and land, and therefore it's connected with earthquakes. You can visit my website asksatishlifeguide.com and check out the blog where I've given a timeline of events that have taken place in such planetary combinations. When you are there, you can also scroll down and fill up the contact form in case you want a personal one-to-one astrological consultation. You fill up your details, choose the correct options, and finally fill up your date, place and time of birth accurately. I hope you liked the video and found it interesting. Hope to see you soon with another interesting one. Appreciate your time for watching. Thank you.